Hello and welcome. My name is Luke Woodley. I'm the CEO of the Walnut Tree Health and Wellbeing. For those of you that don't know, and those of you who do, welcome back and thanks for joining us once again. Bringing you this video from home. I'm working from home due to COVID and the lockdown and all that brings. I'm sure everybody, much like myself, has had enough, but it's important that we do our bit and follow the guidelines, and then hopefully we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel and we will soon be coming out of this. But COVID obviously has played a big part in the Walnut Tree, as it has in everybody's life over 2020. And 2020 started out looking so promising. We had numerous meetings lined up, and there've been groundworks done for contract negotiations and various other bits and pieces, and it was really looking like it was going to be our year. And then COVID struck and undone an awful lot of work, and a year now we haven't been able to fundraise, and so that's we've taken a bit of a financial battering, and it's looking like we won't really be able to do any fundraising through 2021. So a second year with no fundraising, we're going to have to make some very tough decisions, and that could even potentially mean closing the doors. So it's a serious time and a very stressful time that we're at, and we'll do whatever we can to keep the organization going, but we can't do it alone. That's just impossible. We need help. We need help from everybody who can help us in any way. There's all sorts of ways in which people can help, and one of the ways that you can help is sponsor my weight loss fundraising, for example. And I'm looking to lose 10 stone, and I've already lost a stone in 2 weeks. It's not easy. I live with PTSD from my time in the military, and as part of that, depression symptoms, when my mood goes low and I'm under stress, I do tend to comfort eat, which is why I've put on so much weight since starting the Walnut Tree, because the Walnut Tree wasn't something I intended ever to start. I'd done a lot of research around mental health, the military, mental health, men and mental health, and other areas of mental health. And my work with Dr. Roger Kingley was to write the Veteran Stabilisation Programme and try and improve treatment for military veterans in Norfolk and Suffolk, and really it should have ended there. And it didn't, because we live in a country where mental health is a postcode lottery, and depending on where you live depends on the type of service that you get. And I thought that was really unfair, having had my own experiences with mental health, having 3 attempts to take my own life. I didn't want anybody else struggling and suffering, and so it kind of grew out of a need rather than any sort of just sit down. There was no sit down, make a business plan and all the rest of it. It was literally responding to one need after another, and then here we are, many years later, running an organisation. So it's been a very stressful time, and it's not about the things that I really have to do, because it's a job. You do what you got to do. That's straightforward. But it's the times where the challenges hit, and you're very aware all of a sudden of how many people are in your care, and how many people are relying upon you for their treatment. And then, of course, there's the welfare of the staff and the volunteers. They work very hard, but some of our staff, they work with people with complex mental health needs, and it can be challenging. It can be really difficult for them too. Sometimes people are telling them stuff that they've never told anybody else, and although they're deeply professional and they get their supervision and all the rest of it, they're still human beings, and they care deeply about the people that they support. And so you have to make sure that they're okay too, and that they're on top form to do their job, and that they're not being negatively impacted by the work that they do. So there's a lot of responsibility, and at the end of the day, the buck stops with me. And sometimes you become incredibly aware of that at times, and that can take its toll. And I need to manage that better. Hence, the weight loss challenge, to raise funds for the Walnut Tree and to create a better and healthier lifestyle for myself. So if you want to sponsor me, go onto our social media and click on the GoFundMe link, which you'll find in one of the posts on there. There's many posts about my weight loss challenge, and click on there and please give whatever you can. If you don't want to go through the GoFundMe page, that's absolutely fine. Go onto our website, www.walnuttreehealthandwellbeing.co.uk, and you can donate through the website direct into the Walnut Tree bank account. That's absolutely fine. Do it that way if that's the way you want to do it. It doesn't matter. Just give what you can and support the challenge. And while we're talking about support, if there's anything you can do in the way of fundraising that complies with COVID guidelines, then please, we'd love to hear from you. Get in touch, admin@walnuttreehealthandwellbeing.co.uk, or go onto the website, click contact, fill out a form that way. Remember, we're remote working, so phones aren't the best way to get hold of us right now. Either a contact form for the website or the admin@walnuttreehealthandwellbeing.co.uk website is the fastest way to get hold, and we can respond then and help you out. So if you'd like to do some fundraising, you've got some ideas that comply with COVID, please get in touch. We'd love to hear from you. I spoke to a guy end of last week. He's going to do some fundraising for us, which is fantastic. He's got some great plans coming up, and I look forward to putting up some of the links to his fundraising pages, so you can all take a look at what he's doing to raise money. But it's not all about raising money. We do need some help in some other areas. So we're looking for people with expertise in marketing and advertising and marketing. We're looking for people with skills in clothing design, clothing manufacture, retail, particularly online retail, online shops, and we're looking for people with IT experience that can build or create online shops and know about how they work, payment methods, etc., etc. So if you fit into one of those categories, please get in touch. I'd like to arrange to have an online meeting with you and see if you could volunteer some time to help us with a project. Some of the projects from 2020 got put on the back burner. We now have to start looking at ways in which we can bring those back to life, and those are the things that are going to help us become independently financially viable and be our future. The Walnut Tree doesn't want to be reliant upon donations and grant funding forever and a day. The aim is to become a self-sufficient organisation, and then reinvesting the profits from our commercial lines into our charitable objectives. That's the goal, and we're going to do that by creating many revenue streams. We can't have all our eggs in one basket, and that's how we've suffered through 2021, because our largest income stream is through grant funding and fundraising. And COVID has shown the vulnerabilities of that, and we want to make sure that going forward we have many forms of income, so that no matter what's happening in the world, we've always got some form of income. So if one income stream or two income streams get hit, we've still got others that are coming in, and so that should help us ride out any major problem and making sure that we've got a reserve financial war chest. We were lucky when COVID hit, we did have that backup funding, but like I say, with no money coming in, we're constantly dipping into that, then it does chip away, and eventually you have to ask some very difficult questions about long-term sustainability, which is kind of the conversation I've had with directors already this year. And I don't want to be calling that board meeting where we're all sat there looking at one another saying, okay, is it time to wind up because we've got very little funds coming in? That's not a conversation I want to be having. So it's time to get proactive and really sort of push forward now. We're hopefully through the worst of COVID, and we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel now. It's about time to make sure that we've got some plans that we can start to bring online and start to do some real positive stuff to drive things forward. And so it's important that we do that. So yeah, if you've got any skill sets in those areas that you could business development, business management, retail, particularly online retail, if you've ever been involved in manufacturing of clothing ranges, designing of clothing, those are the people that we really want to hear from. Marketing, sales, and people that can help us promote not just the product ranges that we want to bring online, but also the Walnut Tree as a whole, our services. So if you've got those skills, please get in touch. Again, it would be admin@walnuttreehealthandwellbeing.co.uk, or click on the website and fill out the contact form and send that through, and that will come through, and we'll get in contact and make arrangements to speak to you. We really would value some help and support in those areas too. And so if you can do that, great. There's not a great lot of other things happening. It really has been, draw everything down to the bare bones and try and survive COVID. So there's not really anything exciting that I can really tell you. Unfortunately, for those people who have been reliant upon our emergency out of hours support in Suffolk, we heard that we will not be getting the second year of funding due to COVID. That funding has been pulled, money has been used elsewhere, so we are going to have to potentially close that line. We are in talks with some funders to see if we can do that, but I know many of you have already been notified that it is a possibility. But mark my words, I will fight tooth and nail to try and prevent that from happening. It was poor show really to get the sort of news that funding had been pulled a bit lastminute.com, and I have written and made my feelings on that known in no uncertain terms, that actually you can't just do that to people. You can't have a service that's established and you wait till lastminute.com to tell people that funding has not been renewed, especially when it's been so successful as it has. And that's another thing. This funding was put in place to try and improve things. We've shown a way in which things can be improved, and then all of a sudden there's no money for it. And I know COVID has taken money. I know it's been difficult, but that's no excuse to make other people suffer when mental health is so underfunded already. I'm sure they could have found their cuts in a more healthier area. So I have protested. Whether that will do any good, we'll wait and see. But it's something that I can assure you I will continue to fight for, and try and keep that emergency out of hours mental health support going as best we can in Suffolk for those of you that are reliant upon it. That's pretty much it, really. It's not all good news, I'm afraid. Like I say, it's difficult, and I'm sure many of you understand. Many of you are furloughed. Some of you may have even lost your jobs. Some of you haven't seen family members in the longest of times, and maybe you've got a loved one in a nursing home that you can't get to see right now, and it's been really trying and testing on everybody. It's important though that we support each other and help each other through. So I will finish this video by saying, don't forget to check on friends and family. Make sure that you really ask questions and follow up. Don't just say, how are you doing? And they'll say, oh, getting by. Ask them if there's anything specific they want to talk about, and make sure that you're happy that they really are okay, and not just saying that because you don't want to be a burden to people. And if you are struggling, then reach out. There's lots of support available. If you're registered with the Walnut Tree, then get in touch with ourselves. If you're not registered with the Walnut Tree, then get in touch with the Samaritans, or the Salvation Army, or one of the many other wonderful organisations out there that can help and support. There's Mind and other organisations. So there is help and support out there. If you don't know where to go for that, then just ring your GP surgery and speak to them. Speak to somebody to get some help and advice. Ring Citizens Advice if you don't mind a long wait on the phone. Google if you've got access to the internet. But find somebody to talk to, friends, family, or an organisation that can help, and reach out. Tell them that you're struggling. Don't struggle alone. There's lots of us struggling. It's okay to ask for help, and it's okay to be struggling. Lots of people are struggling right now. People who probably thought they would never really struggle and they thought they were okay, probably can suddenly find themselves, struggling. So it happens to everybody. We're only human, and it's all right to ask for help. And so reach out. don't suffer in silence. Until then, take care of each other, and I will speak to you all soon. Take care. Bye bye.